Hey everybody, I figured I'd do a little live demo of this. This was something that I had uploaded the, what would you call it? It's kind of the computer gameplay. So I just wanted to show, I wanted to show that you can play this game still. I don't think there's really any, I guess you would say, footage of this for the PC edition online. From what I can tell, it's usually just the 3DO and stuff like that, or maybe the Sega Saturn. But this is a game I purchased on eBay. It looked interesting. I hadn't really heard about it from back in the day. I got a nice little box copy. Unfortunately, it's not the best game, but it is what it is, and I got to make something out of it, and just maybe someone out there would like it. But it really doesn't play very well, and the hardest part is just trying to find out the layout of the ground and what you're hitting off of, because the ball can seem to take off and do weird things, but you can't really see the ground. So there's editions of this out there on sites, I'll say, and the trouble is it doesn't really start up well and give you sound, and even in the Exodus, I think it was called, that thing that's released with a bunch of pre-built-in DOS games, or you can download the base and then you can download. This is one of those games in there, and I believe when it loads, it doesn't load with any sound. And I want to kind of show real quick first how to get sound in this, because the setup has a sound configuration tool, but it doesn't often save. And I think sometimes the reason it doesn't save is because that initial save file is, the config file is already in there, but it's a readme only or a read only file. Not readme, but a read only file. And either way, I finally got it to work. But if you can't get it to work, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. You can manually input the config file, because I got it to work on one system by fluke. I don't know why it caught one time, but then I made sure I captured the config. So if anyone wants to play this, let's see if I can find, let's see. I just got to look for this file on here, and then we'll get to a little bit of gameplay. I'm not going to play much because you've seen the gameplay if you've watched the other one, but this is going to just show you how it controls. Alright, so I've got to hunt for, let's see, my desktop. No, I think I need a window here. I think I need an extra window because it's in a text file. Let's see. A window capture. Let's do a new one. And there we go. All right, that should be up there now. Okay, so here we go. Here's the configuration. Now, what it won't drop in is if you see where it says sound, and then SBIRQ7, SB4220, SBDMA1. You've got to add those 4 lines in manually, and then you'll get sound. Otherwise, you'll only get the intro sound, and then the game won't have any sound, because I think those intros play off of the CD directly, which means you can use ISOs. Oh, there's another thing I want to talk about too, is the disc swapping, which is something you've got to do in this game. But don't wait until it asks for disc swapping, because after you get through hole 13, it starts playing hole 14's intro, and then it says to swap discs, but when you swap discs, it won't function. Each disc, the first disc has hole like 1 through 13, and then the second disc has hole like 4 through 18, which there's overlap in there. I don't know why they did it that way, but what I would suggest to anybody is, once you get to hole 9, after it shows you your score and it's sitting up there, don't hit continue yet. Go in, do the disc swap, whatever disc swap you need to do with whatever platform you're using, whatever tool that you use. Do the disc swap before it gets to hole 14 and prompts you. You can do it any time after hole 4 or 5, because the discs have both all the way through those middle areas and to the end or the front end. So I'd say just do hole 9. Before you go to hole 10, just swap the disc, start it up, and it'll work fine. Otherwise, it'll glitch out and you won't be able to get it. So I'll that's been up long enough. Let's get rid of that. So there we go. So here's the clubs. Not that they matter much, but let's go in and actually do a little bit of play here. I'm going to... There's also something else that happens when you're moving around the cursor in this game. It freezes up once the sound's engaged. It doesn't freeze up otherwise, but once the sound's engaged, you will get some freezing. So, let's see. And not the most intuitive. You can play this World Cup, which is like, I'll just show it. It's kind of this match format, so not very fun for an individual. I mean, I guess if you're going to just play several rounds, you know, but it's kind of interesting that you'd want to play against a character sometimes, and if you try and view that character, the computer glitches too often where they get stuck in a routine and it can crash your whole game and then you have to exit. Now, this thing has been designed to save every hole, so I think they did that on purpose because they knew that sometimes the computer players will get stuck and you won't be able to ever finish. So you got to like crash out the game and restart it, and then you go back to the hole before. See, right now I'm moving the cursor, and it's not moving at all. So there's something also with this game where it's kind of a little flaky with how it runs. Let's see if I can get it to recapture. See, there you go. It's moving again. So let's go into other tournaments, because this is where, you know, they've got a great list of different tournaments to play, you know, and if you're playing with human people and you're swapping out, you're going to be fine. But if you decide to play like a skins game against the computer, odds are that they could get hung up in one of these crashes that you see at the end of the video I posted already, and then you won't be able to play, or you'd have to crash the game out or exit it somehow and restart that hole again and hope that they don't do it again. Yeah, see, already I've got it where it's freezing up the cursor again. It's so weird why it does this. I don't know what it is about the sound, but maybe I have to restart this whole thing. Maybe I've... oh, there it goes. Also, the slower you have the processor... I'm just going to play a regular tournament here. The slower you have the processor, and you want to probably simulate or emulate your processor down in the 386, it plays smoother, but also it takes a lot longer to load. So just as an example here, I'm going to create a player. And because the other one I used a male, there's only 2 players. Like, it's kind of weird. So I'm just going to put like, let's just put female, you know. And I'll use that, and I'll use a left-handed player. I'll keep the clubs the same, and then I hit save. Now she'll be in the list, so you have to exit from here, and then you go back into... Oh, and there's options to change in the game too, the weather and stuff like that. Adjust weather, adjust countries, all that stuff. So, you know, you can make it so it's not as bouncy, which is kind of nice because sometimes the ball really flies off when it hits the ground. So I kind of put the conditions down to wet. The wind, it's always kind of blowing in the same location or area. I'll show you that. So let's go to... You got to go back to this, which is weird. You have to set up everything first, and then now here I can go down and just scroll down to the F section, and I'll see that female player. Another thing to note is if you want to watch a computer, you have to tick off the display for them. If you don't tick that off, they will not show up, which means it'll just automatically play through it. So that's what I mean. If you're playing a tournament and you're just playing through it, the computer will never glitch out because you're not seeing the actual gameplay. It'll just register scores on the holes. But if you watch the player while you play, like you play one against another, that's when the computer can glitch out. Now, it froze up again. I got to wait for the cursor to catch. It is such a weird thing that it does this, and the slower your computer settings, the longer it takes for the cursor to come back. So I'm going to delete this guy here. And we'll go back to this female player, and then we will just hit play. Because it seems funny, if you go back to like player selection after this, it'll just remove whatever this player is, so you have to do that first and then go back in and play.
Hole 1, par 4, measuring 360 yards. A gentle dogleg right.
Again, you'll know if your sound's not working because it'll just show this screen with no sound, and it'll only be up for a second.
Watch out for the lemon and lime trees.
And then again, if you crank up the speed of the computer to a Pentium level, it goes much faster, but it also makes the gameplay look a little weird when the ball cam runs, which is not a real ball cam, it's just showing a bunch of pictures. There's no accuracy to it. So then you click on your player. Well, let's go through all this stuff. Preferences. You can turn on sound effects and all that stuff, which is fine. Maps. Now this is kind of weird. You kind of click and drag this. It's very unintuitive because it goes opposite of how I feel it should go. And then you can see the wind, and the wind's almost always blowing in the same direction on this game. But I got a crosswind from left to right here a little bit. You can see your ball lie. It's on a tee. I could drop it if I wanted to. I don't know. It's not letting me do it, probably because we're on the tee right now. You can hear there's no sounds otherwise. It's very sparse for sounds. It doesn't play sounds during the actual gameplay. It's all reactive sounds. The land thing, which is useful when you're on. And here's the thing: when I click this, it doesn't start up. Just so you know, I gotta click and hold. And if I hold, then it starts moving it around in that area, which is very bizarre. I don't click and move over to where that is and drag it around. I have to click on the land part, click and hold, and while I'm over there, I start moving the mouse, and then it moves this. But you can see it shows it's flat. There's no line on there, so it's totally flat. But you can rarely see that. If you're in an area and you land where there's a slope that you're hitting off of, you can't even tell because it makes this weird circle, and there's maybe a line in it, but you can't tell which way it's going. All right, so simple, basic start off. You click on this player. You click down in here. You can change the percentage you want of power. And just as a matter of fact, for that, if we go into clubs, and you click on the club you're using, like let's say I go to a 3-wood, right? You click it a second time, it brings up your power, and then what kind of swing you want. So you can change to full swing, 3/4 swing. If you have a iron, it'll give you the chip option, a long or a short chip. What's weird is I can't just close out up here. I've got to close this first, then close this. I guess they give you the option to go to another club or something. So if I click pitching wedge, click it a second time, you'll see I also now have a long chip and a short chip. And then you can change all your settings right from here if you're having to use special shots too. But otherwise, let's go back to just the standard driver. And it's also backspin you can add. Backspin doesn't seem to work too good because the ball hits so hard off the surface. I mean, it's probably on the second bounce, but it's really hard to keep it on things. And then you got the stance. You can change one way or the other, to hook or slice it a little bit. All right, so let's get out. We're on the driver, right? Yeah, driver, club select. Come on, close. Close. All right, so you see this cursor is where you're aiming. It always aims it towards the flag, which is not good, especially when you're teeing off. So here's the thing. I can look like I put this right in here. It looks like a fairway, right? This is just an overlay image. They took pictures of the course, thousands of them, and then they digitized them to make it look more computery and probably consistent with the coloring and stuff. But then it's just overlaid off of like one of those old golf games probably. There's an underlying grid of some sort that it's running off of, and then these pictures are just overlaid as close as possible to that. So I can have this cursor I mean, this obviously this is rough, but if like here I see this little sliver that looks like it's actually fairway, but it's not. So what you got to do to line up your shots, you got to kind of be like, okay, I'm hitting 200 and some yards, right? So I got to kind of get into that zone, which is incredibly hard. And then find, well, here, I found the fairway at least, and that's 190 yards. If I go forward just 1 pixel, you see how it jumps so much, and now I'm in the water. So it's so hard to lay out a shot. So what I try and do is I try and just aim for a fairway that's around 200 yards and hope that it's still going to make it in the fairway. All right, so I click the little character. It's going to swipe over here. I got to click it in the center. It's going to go up to here. It's going to swipe back. So I'm guessing this is power and this is left or right, you know, hook or slice. So it's click, click, click. 1, 2. And I've got it really slow on a slow computer right now. It should play a little faster than this, but I'm trying to show how to hit a good shot on this. And so that you see the ball cam looking somewhat normal. I'll speed it up in a moment so you can see on the next hole, because I'm only going to play a couple of holes here because it takes a long time to get through this. But I can even, if I get out of here, you won't see this, but now if I go see, and again it's like you've got this aiming right for the flag, which is good because you got 51 yards and it's aiming for the flag, so that's always good on the second shot. I'll speed it up after this. So see how it's still selecting a driver for me? Sometimes it auto selects, sometimes it doesn't, so I don't know what the heck it takes to get this. So I'm going to say it's 75 yards normally, right? Also, the lie is so hard. Sometimes I'll hit like something that's just in the light rough, and I'll hit it twice as hard. Like if I got 100 yards to go and I hit 200 even, it might go like 30. It's so confusing. It doesn't handle very well. Let's go into here. Let's go to 51. So what's that, about 60 some percent? And because it flies off, I'm going to go down to 55. Do a full swing. Let's see what I get out of this. It's aiming right for, I mean, I know the wind is cutting across, but I'm not going to mess with the wind right now and try and adjust for that because it doesn't seem to help. So again, if you want to play it a little more accurate, you can slow down the gameplay or the processor so you can get much more accurate shots, but it should be a little faster than this. And I see, why did it go that way? It went to the right and it went really short. I'm on the fairway. So probably that's from the wind a little bit. The wind seems to impact it too much sometimes. That shot may be kind of accurate that I just took. So we're in the sand. And go back to here, and we're going to use this. And we got 17 yards. So I mean, hitting out of the bunker, I don't know what the percentage discount I guess would be. So let's say we go, let's try 40%. Now I don't know, I should have showed the land that I was on right there so you could have seen if we could even read if I was on a slope or anything. I mean, this is looking like it plays well right now, actually, which it generally doesn't. This kind of looks like it's playing correct. Because most of these shots have gone what I would expect, but it's because I've probably been on a surface that's fairly flat. Again, here is the most time you're going to want to use this, because see how it's showing flat. There's just a little dot, and then suddenly it's downhill, and to the right a little bit. But it's hard to tell because this should be hitting straight at it. But sometimes if I say, okay, I want to adjust because it's downhill, and I want to just adjust to the edge of the cup, let's kind of see what happens. But let's also look at the info here. This also tells you that it's just straight downhill. And maybe that's the mistake of the angle I'm at, that I'm thinking that it's going to the left, but it's really because my player's standing to the left. It's really straight in. So let's go back and let's put it straight in, because this also gives you the guide. You see the white arrow saying that it's just straight downhill. 19 feet, 6 inches below. So you want to hit it. Normally, for something like this, you'd say, oh, I got to hit it maybe about 16, 17 feet, because that -6 is going to let it drizzle down. But I also made it extra damp, so I'm going to hit this like probably 20 just to see how it goes. You can go up and down on this. You can change the scale of how far. It looks like, let's see, you go from, it seems to double, double, double. So you've got 1, 2, and then double that to 8, 16. All right, we want 20, so we need to be right about here. This is weird because it's not click, click. It's not click to start it, click to stop like the other things is. The driving and chipping. This is click, hold, release, which is kind of weird. It uses 2 different methods. Instead of just click, let it run, and click to stop it, you click, hold, and let go to stop it. Very confusing gameplay for anybody that's played 3-click golf games before. It's either, the choice is either one or the other, not both. Yeah, that's not even going to make it. See? I mean, it's so hard to determine. I mean, yeah, the ground's a little wet, but for crying out loud, I was hitting downhill. And I hit 20 feet, and it still went 13 feet. So it's really tricky to figure this out. Let me do this again. It's still saying, now I got 5 feet. So, what do I hit this? 10 feet? Just to make it go in? And see, it went to the right. Like, it's so confusing. If it was supposed to go to the right, that indicator should have shown, instead of just straight down, it should have shown just slightly to the right. So you can't read anything well. That's the hardest part about this. So if I click this, it's showing now I'm hitting uphill. If I click this here, you can see I'm hitting uphill, and it's going to go. So I got to hit it hard, and I got to hit it to the left technically. So do I want to go to the left a little bit? Well, yeah, you'd think so. But looking at my indicator saying that my character, from where they stand, it's just straight uphill. Let's see if I can just force it in here. 2 feet's not going to be enough already, I know. That's almost 2 feet, 23 inches. 2 feet's not going to make it. I'm going to have to hit this like 4 feet to get it to the hole. It's one of these games where I'm having the most difficult time trying to calculate.
Well, that was a bit of a mess.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to go out, and I am at a 386 speed right now. I am going to crank this up to a higher end 486. So let's get back in here. Continue. You may see the ball cam move faster now.
Hole 2.
But I'll just play this second hole, and then
530 yards. A gradual curve right.
That'll be the demo for this.
The key shot is an approach
If you want to
shot
play
to
this, it's out
green.
there. You can find
On
it.
this hole, the golfer can loosen up and at the same
And the
time,
earlier part of
really
this
catch a
kind of
birdie.
tells you all the tricks on how to get it to run with sound, which I don't think anyone's uploaded anything before with it, from what I could tell. It's an experience, I'll tell you that. This may be probably one of the second or third most frustrating golf games I've ever played, and I've played hundreds now. All right, so again, let's look at the map here just for fun. We see the wind, as usual, just cutting across us. So it's going to move the ball a little to the right. This is going to the flag. I'm obviously not going to hit it that far, so I've got to find somewhere in here. Nope. See, this can happen too if you accidentally click on her area. You have to click on this first. You can't just click to move the cursor. You have to click on the cursor and drag it around. So let's see, fairway 231, that's good. Let's move it a little to the left to account for the wind. It's going to move a little faster, so hopefully I hit this right. Ooh, so that's going to take way off to the left. It's going to penalize me. It's going to be out of bounds. The other thing about this game is the out of bounds is everywhere. It can't calculate anything but other than the main area. So it can't go off the course and you can shoot. You've got to be perfect on all your shots. And that obviously was because I'm a little slow, because I was using the slow version just a second ago. Now I overdid it. Now it's going to go to the right. And it's not going to be safe, because there's no version of this that you have an amateur player or pro where the amateur player can at least take out the hook and slice somewhat or reduce it. It's just all or nothing. Oh, boy. It's such a frustrating thing when the speed goes up on this. It's really hard to hit it because that little slope it does, it seems to accelerate. I mean, I'm just missing a crap load of shots now. And it said this is made to play better on a Pentium. And if you have a Pentium, it changes the speed of your indicator, which it shouldn't. See, that one went a little slow. So that could have been the emulator a bit. I have played this on a real system, and it's still as sus, I guess you'd say. All right, so we got 251. Let's see. Who's going to use... You don't use a driver on your second shot. Probably can go right for it because I think it's pretty clear. I'm just going to try and hit it straight towards it. And then I messed it up. It's the timing is so hard to get on this. It'll stay on because I was in the rough. I didn't really use an iron like I should have to get out of the rough. But it's all out the window with playing this game. If you play 18 holes, you'll be lucky if you have any hair left on your head. 223 wood. So this should be... No, I don't need to go that far. I mean, on the fairway, I should be able to hit. Well, I'm going to use the 2-iron because I just feel like it could be a better swing. No, I didn't adjust for the wind. You can see it take it off to the right a bit. I mean, it's kind of nice for what it was. It just doesn't handle very well. It's a kind of confusing. So, see, if I want to see what my I could do this info stuff, right? I can see that I'm in a little bit of the rough, but I can't see. If I'm on a flat surface, an incline, I can see here that I'm 3 feet below. I got to hit up 3 feet. But I can't take a click on this and see. I can't see. I can't tell if my ball is resting on an incline in any sense. So you're hitting blind on these. All right, 57 yards. I'm in the rough. Yeah, I'm probably going to double it. Let's add some backspin. Maximum, why not? And see how I come out of this. You know what, maybe I'll at least drop this down 85% so I don't crush it too far. And it barely went anywhere. It's so hard to get out of the rough in this game. It doesn't make sense. Let's try it again. Same thing, yep. Did it keep all this? Doesn't. I'll leave it flat. I can't imagine adding backspin messed things up. I mean, that's about as good as you can hit. And there it goes this time. It takes off. It didn't go just a few yards like last time.
Better luck next time.
I mean, I'm still in the same area of rough. I hardly went anywhere. I mean, that demonstrates it right there. That's what I was waiting for, one of these kind of shots where I'm just totally confused, like what do I do here? So let's go down to 50. That's why it's worth keeping a little slower, so you can see the consistency. It seems like this thing, when you use a faster computer, it messes up the timing. Even though they say it should be working on a Pentium better, if you increase speed of the computer, you essentially... I'm going to slow it down again so I can actually hit it okay. I'm going to put it right at the level of a plain 486, the lowest end. And let's see, let's go with a sand wedge. And info. And let's see, 35 yards. I mean, do I just hit it regular full? What's my lie? I'm in the rough. All right, well, I'll hit it about 75%. See, dropping that speed a little bit makes it a lot easier. And you know what? The challenge of this is not getting that perfect hit. So slowing it down is helpful so you can get... And there I am on the other side maybe. It's really reading this whole thing. It's just absolutely baffling because the consistency of shots from different areas are just all over the place. And then next thing you know, you gotta look, I'm on shot 15 on this hole, the second hole. The first hole went well. This one's crazy, and I can't even see what I'm shooting at here. Again, am I on a downslope because there's this hill? So we got 15 yards. Let's go in. Let's keep. Let's go with a pitching wedge. Let's click it again. Let's change this to a chip, a short chip, which I think a short chip goes about 20 some yards. Sometimes it goes 40. I don't know. And I'm just going to swing and see what happens. I hardly changed the speed of the processor, actually. It hasn't changed that much. That was a short chip, and I can't see where it's rolling, what's happening. It went 34 yards. Unbelievable. I'm on the putting surface, at least. So I'm going to click on this. It's just a quick way to see it. It says I'm just going uphill. But if I do this, I bet we'll see that it's not just uphill. See, it goes back and forth a bit. But that arrow is so crappy, you can't generally see what it's doing. See, it goes to the right there, and then a little to the left, and then straight. So, I mean, it's going to move to the right a little, so I must have to go over here. I'm 8 inches high to the pin, so I'm going to have to hit this like 70. So that's doubling. So that's another 30. So that's 90. So somewhere in here. Let's see what happens. Didn't even make it. I mean, it's going half of what it should because the ground's a little wet. It's insane. But I just wanted to add those features in so you can see how crazy it is. Again, if I click this, I see that I'm really just hitting straight uphill. But if I click this and drag, that does look like identically at the same angle uphill. So 11 feet, I'm going to have to double that. So 22 maybe up here. There you go. You got to think crazy. Well, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this craziness, and tie this in with seeing all 18 holes on the other one, except you don't get to see the green because the computer flakes out at the end. So there we go. Hopefully that was at least interesting enough that you may want to play it, or you may say, I'm never going to play this game. So hope you enjoyed it one way or the other. I've got my money out of this game just by the pure frustration of trying to figure it out. So I guess it was worth it, because sometimes when things aren't perfect, it can be interesting also. So we'll see you later.